Hi, fourth graders. We're going to go through the review off the form that you just filled in. The reason why I want to take some time to go through it is to give you tricks and to make sure that you understand everything before you take your test tomorrow. Okay, so I just went ahead taking this form, put my name on it. The teacher, of course, is myself. But let's start at number 3. So what type of angle is in this picture? That's always the first thing you want to look at. I know I mentioned it last Friday that you can't measure an angle if you don't know what type of angle it is. I also know that Mr. Moser reintegrated the exact same thing. So when we look at this picture over here on the protractor, I can see that both of my lines are on one side of my whole protractor. And that's just a quick way of knowing if they're both on the same side, they're going to be acute angles. Okay, when one is on one side and one is on the other, they're going to be obtuse angles. So that's a quick trick to remember. Okay, so this is acute because they're both on the same side. Okay, question number 4. What is the measurement of the angle? So if you didn't pick up on this before when you did the form, we ask what type of angle it is, and then what is its measurement. So when we look at this line is on 0 and this line is up here. We know that it's acute angle, so we're looking at the smaller numbers. So I'm going to count by tens at first. So I would go 10, 20, 30. Now right here, this other line lies between 30 and 40, and it's right smack dab in the middle of it. So what lies between 30 and 40 right in the middle? You're right, 35. So after talking with Mrs. Holt, who is creating your test, we realized that a lot of kids are missing some problems on the forms, and it's because you're trying to type in degrees or things like that and not spelling them correctly. So we're going to eliminate all that. All we want you to do is put in the digit form of the measurement rather than typing degrees. So I'm just going to type 35 and move on. Okay, now this next one, what type of angle is in this picture? Remember the trick I gave you before? When one angle is on one side, or one line is on one side and the other line is on the other side of 90, right away, you'll know that it is obtuse. When they're both on the same, right away, you'll notice that they're acute. So this one is obtuse because they're on either side of the 90. Okay, now this protractor and angle are blown up a little bit bigger. What is the measurement of the angle? I know that it's past 90, so I'm just going to count up from 90. So I need to use the larger numbers because it is obtuse. So I have 100, 110, 120. Now my line lies between 120 and 130. But what I do notice here is that the midway point between 120 and 130 is 125. And that location is right where I put that green dot. And that is not where the blue line goes over. In fact, it's a few away. So if that's 125 right there, 126, still not on that. The blue line winds up being right on 127. So again, do not type in degrees, just type in the number 127 and move on. Okay, number 7, what type of angle is in this picture? So I have one angle on 0 and the other one straight up in the air, exactly on 90. So whenever we see a 90-degree angle, we call that a right angle. So what is the measurement of the angle? Well, we kind of talked about that already, is 90 degrees. Remember, I'm not going to write the word degrees, just the digits. Okay, problem number 9 is where we get a little tricky. So this goes back to that little thing I said at the beginning of determining what type of angle this is. They both are on the same side of the protractor of that 0 to 90 on this side. So that means this is an acute angle. Okay, now that angle is blown up a little bit larger. And now I need to figure out what is the distance between these two. So there's a couple ways to do this, and it's always wise when you're taking a test to use both, so then that way you know for sure they're 100% right and you know you've got these answers correct. So one way to do this is I can subtract. So first I'm going to ignore this arrow right here, and I'm going to go to the one closest to the 90, and I realize that that one is right at 80 degrees. So on your paper, if you write down 80, okay, just write that down on a piece of paper somewhere. Then we're going to look at this spot that's left, this spot that is the empty space from the line to 0. We need to know what that is. So I'm going to count here. That's 10, 20, halfway between 20 and 30 gives me 25. So remember you wrote down 80 before for this line? If we take 80 minus this amount, which, whoa, we said 25, so 80 minus 25 is 55, 35, 25. Oh, now we really check. So you have an answer there, which I got 55, but let's check because I could be wrong too. So now we're going to count by 5, going from one line to the next and make sure. So 5, 50, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So my original answer when I subtracted correct. Sorry, writing with my mouse is a little difficult. So writing it on paper is a whole lot easier. So 55. No need to write degrees down. Okay, number 11. What is the type of angle in the picture? Well, now I have one that's on this side of the, put my cursor here. It's on this side of the 90 degree mark. This side. So automatically, right? Well, you would think so, but that really works perfectly when you have a line right here at 0. So we need to look at this a little bit differently. So I'm at 11, but I will come back to it because it's important not to leave any answer in the answer here. Let's go down to number 12. We'll come back to it. So the reason I want to do this is to make sure that how this is, I'm going to count from 0 to 9. So I have 10, 20. So I have 20 from that line. Well, what if I take and I can shift this direction? See how far away that is. 20. That means this line at 90. The other one will be right at 0. That will give me a perfect right angle. So in this case, I actually have for number 11 a right angle. So to look at this one when it's not right at 0. So always make sure. So that measures out 90. Another trick that you can use is to take a piece of paper, line it up with the corner of that angle, and if you see one edge of paper along one side of it and another edge on the other side of the line, you'll know, oh, that's a perfect 90-degree angle. Okay, number 13. So what type of angle is in this picture? I kind of have some similar going on. So could it be a right angle or could it be obtuse? Let's go and check down here first. So before we took and subtracted or kind of counted our spaces, And the way that you can do this one that I showed with the first angle that we did that was is take your largest line, which is 105. Write down 135. Okay, really pure me. So sorry, guys. After you do that, you're going to count the spot. So from 0 to here, so we have 10, 20, halfway between 20 and 30 is 25. So you wrote 135 down minus 25. Go ahead and do that math for me. 135 minus 25. I don't know about you, but I got 110. And if that's what kind of includes this then? It's more than 90, so that would make obtuse. Before I go up and click on number 13, let's make sure that we really have the measurement correct here. And let's count by 5. I know that's quite a ways if we're trying to get to all the way to 110, but let's count by 5s from one line to the next. So here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110. So we got the same thing. That way we know, hey, this measurement is exactly 110 because I did it twice and wound up with the same answer. If I didn't wind up with the same answer, I need to check my subtraction or recount this all over again because sometimes we get going too fast and we can make silly mistakes. Okay, if it's 110 degrees, that makes number 13 up here obtuse, correct? Just don't forget to go back and answer that. Okay, so that's it for this review. When you get done today, hit submit so that way your teacher will see it. And hopefully these little tricks that I went through today will help you with assessment. So good luck tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls.